Hello again. This afternoon, the fate of the Ayawaso East parliamentary seat is entering its final hours as polls draw to a close in the by-election. Voting has been largely peaceful across Nima, Mamobi, Kanda, and surrounding communities since polls opened at 7 a.m. And nearly 50,000 registered voters are expected to cast their ballots at 113 polling stations. Although the process has remained calm, turnout appears relatively low at several centers amid a heavy security presence across parts of the constituency. We have comprehensive coverage from our teams on the ground. Let's begin with Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah, who is joining us from one of the polling stations. Jackie, where are you currently and what can you tell us? Jackie, kindly unmute your microphone so we can hear you.
All right, Ken. If you can hear me now, currently I'm at the Collation Center, which is the Roman Catholic school, right close to the Nima runabout. And this very Collation Center is where we have 3 polling stations at. We've seen a couple of people trooping in, but I was surprised to know that I spoke to the presiding officer earlier, one of the polling stations here, which the expected voters here is 169, but then 39 have voted so far as at 2 p.m. And the second police station here, which is the Roman Catholic School, Nima 2, they were expecting 190, or they are expecting 190 voters, but then they have 51 who have voted so far as at 2 p.m. right here at the Coalition Center, which happens to be a polling center for 3 different polling stations. Ken,
have you spotted anybody who has been there but is yet to vote?
No, Ken. So especially for here, security is really tight because of there's also a collation center. So they've demarcated the areas to show that, when you enter the premises, there's a part that you are voting, then there's a part that leads to the inner perimeter where the collation would actually be done. So anyone who is in this premises is either a security person, an EC official, or a media person, or is coming in here to vote. Once you are done, the police expect you to leave the premises. That's how tight security is right here. So all the people right in here are media people, but no voter inside, unless the person is in here to vote. And once they are done, they just leave the premises.
We're already hearing concerns that people have failed to turn out to vote because of the heavy security presence. It's a bit intimidating for some of the voters. Is that the case? Are you hearing anything like that?
Yeah, so what we've been gathering so far is the fact that, especially from a couple of the, especially the people we've been speaking to, all that they've been telling us is that because of the Muslim community, it's largely attributed to the fasting that they're having. And also it's a weekday. A couple of them they've already left their homes to go to work. So that is what is attributing to the low voter turnout. But then it's almost 3 p.m. So we are expecting 3 to 4 people will troop in to do their last minute voting here.
I saw you speak to Baba Jamal, the NDC's candidate in this particular election, in the morning. What did he tell you?
Well, he was optimistic. He's been also touring a couple of the voting centers, even before he voted around 12 noon. He was quite optimistic of a win because at the end of the day, he knows that, he was optimistic.
Right.
He didn't even see any low voter turnout to be a blockage to his win, according to him tonight.
Right. Jackie, don't go yet. Fatau Bayaga is also on the ground for us. Fatau, where are you at the moment and what is the situation where you are?
Information Services Department polling station. In fact, here there are about 3 polling stations here. But one thing, Ken, that is quite palpable this very afternoon is the fact that the numbers are very, very low. It's virtually like a holiday for the EC officials who are manning these particular polling stations. They say when they started the polls at 7 a.m., it took about an hour for some of the voters to begin trooping in. And even with that, as we speak, one of the polling stations, just 48 people have voted so far. We will check to see whether the number has changed. But when I asked the EC here, I'm told that just 48 people have voted out of 590 people. That should tell you the, the concern that a lot of people have been raising about the voter turnout as far as this particular by-election is concerned. People attribute it to the fact that Muslims are fasting and they will come later, maybe after 3 p.m. We are waiting to see how that unfolds. But generally, the voter turnout has been very, very poor. But let's engage the EC official just to appreciate what is happening right now, and also to get to better understand this particular process as far as this election process is concerned. So you see, these are ballot papers. Many of them, they came prepared for to serve the voters as they come in, but it looks like they are virtually on a holiday. So let me engage the presiding officer here to better appreciate what is happening here today. Madam, thank you very much. You are live on JoyNews. It looks like you are on holiday today, isn't it?
Yes, we are, just like we are rested because people are not coming. As at now, this is a 49 person that is voting. She's on the process voting. And the number here is 590. And as at now, I think 15 minutes after 2. As for that one, we can't say whether they will come or they will not come.
So is this surprising to you at all?
Very, very surprising.
You've never experienced anything like this before?
No, I haven't experienced it before. I don't know whether it's because of the by-election that... and 3 centers that we are here, all of us, we have more than 500, and no center have got even 60. Yeah.
But people say that maybe it's because this is generally a Muslim constituency, and that maybe after 3, that's when they...
I've seen more than 10, 15, 20 Muslims that they are voting. So you can't say that it's because they are fasting. I can't say that because they are fasting. If you are fasting, you can work, you do everything. So if you say because of the fasting you are not voting, that one there.
So you don't anticipate that a lot more people would come around?
That one there, I would say 15 past 2. And look at the number. Yourself, you can say it.
Thank you very much, madam. So, Ken, it's been like a holiday for the EC officials here. The voter turnout has been very poor. In fact, I have gone to so many polling stations, and this has been the norm today, that many polling stations do not have a lot of people. Unlike maybe other elections where you see people queuing to vote. Even around this time, maybe many people would have been trooping in to vote because they know that polls will close in the next few hours. But it's been different this time around. People are not coming out to vote and all of that. Some of them clearly say that, they need development. They've been voting over the years, but it looks like it doesn't really, their efforts do not really correlate with the kind of development that they get in this particular area. So they explain that if you come to the Ayawaso East constituency, you pass through the various streets, you see that the place is nice, but when you go inside, it paints a different picture. So they are hoping that our authorities would change the situation. So some of them, this is the concern they're given, that perhaps that's why people are not willing to come out and vote. And this particular constituency houses the Jubilee House, and they think that things must change this time around to ensure that this area gets as needed development. So that's been the situation here at the Information Services Department polling station. In fact, there are about 3 polling stations here. More than 150,500 voters, I must say, were expected to vote in this particular area. But it looks like even at the moment, they are struggling to get close to 200, and that is really concerning for the EC officials. As we heard, one of the officials there said that this is really strange. She's not experienced something like this before, over the years, manning there or working for the Electoral Commission. Right.
Fatau and Jackie, I want you guys to stand by for me. I'll come back to you shortly. But right now, let's listen to the former national chairman of the governing National Democratic Congress, Ofosu Ampofo.
Madam, we appreciate your time.
the few weeks that we have this by-election will be the basis for people to demand some development projects. I believe that once they elect a capable member of parliament, because already the late Honorable Nasser Toure was doing very well for them, and all what we need is to get a fitting replacement so that the concerns of the people will be addressed. I do not think that street lights and others are the reason why they are not coming out to vote. I don't know what survey that you have done, but generally by-elections are always have very low turnout, and significantly because of the Ramadan as we speak, and being in the holy month of Ramadan. Definitely that will affect the turnout.
So should we begin to set or schedule this kind of election on weekends where we may be able to see a number of people participating? How about that?
Well, we don't really, the Electoral Commission is an independent body. They have a certain mandate, they have a certain time frame within which to organize a by-election. When somebody dies, I think it's about 60 days, when somebody resigns. So they are working within the framework of the Constitution. And so this is not the first time that we are doing by-election in the weekday. But this has coincided with a very important period, which is the holy month of Ramadan. And that one, you can't do anything about it, because it is the people are adhering to the strict one of the pillars of Islam is this Ramadan, and we will not begrudge them at all. We are only appealing that as many as possible who have the strength and the ability to come out, they should come out. But we will not fault them for not coming out if it is as a result of the observation of the Ramadan.
There's a candidate who defected from the NDC to contest independence. Doesn't that scare the NDC?
Well, I can't speak to that.
All right.
Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo is a former national chairman of the governing NDC there. And we still have Jackie and Fatao. They are among a plethora of our reporters who are dotted across the Ayawaso East constituency to bring us up-to-the-minute updates concerning the ongoing by-election. Fatao and Jackie will come back to you later. Thank you for that comprehensive update. But in the meantime, though, let's engage the politicians. Let's go on to Zoom right now and engage David Agboho, who is the NDC regional chairman, MPP regional chairman in the Greater Accra region. We also have Rashid Tanko Computer, who is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the NDC. Gentlemen, grateful for your time this afternoon. I spoke to you guys yesterday. You both seemed optimistic that it will go in your favors. Looking at the pattern, looking at the low voter turnout we are witnessing, let me start with you, Rashid Tanko Computer. Do you still see the NDC winning by that margin?
Very well. Let me say good afternoon to you and your cherished viewers across the globe. I can assure you, by 5:30, you will hear a wide, huge margin of victory for the NDC. The NDC has worked vigorously well in the constituency for the past 2 weeks. And I can assure you our strategy is working today. Our team of experts are all over the place, and they are bringing out the voters. So I can the margin will still come to pass. We just returned from the field and we are at our command center, mapping up the last minute strategy, how to mobilize and get the people to come out in the last slap of the voting. That is what we are currently doing. We are keeping our eye on the ball because we want to make sure that the 75% info analytics is giving us. We can even go more than that. That is what we are expecting at the end of the day.
Right. Rashid, I'll come back to you. Let me bring in David Agboho in at this point. He's the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Opposition MPP. David, welcome to the program. You were predicting about 38% of the votes for your candidate in this by-election. Still on course, you'd say? Hello, Divine? Do I have Divine Agboho on the line? Right, we're still working the phone lines to try and reconnect with Divine Agboho, who's the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Opposition NPP. Let's go back to Rashid Tanko Computer. Rashid, the low voter turnout, is that a worry to you as a party, NDC? Because we know that this is your stronghold, so the likelihood that you're getting more votes with more voter turnout is high, and the opposite is happening.
Well, as you know, when you go to by-election, you don't expect to have such huge numbers coming out to vote, because some of them would have traveled. And today being a working day, some of them have gone to work early. They have to go and report to work, and then maybe they have to ask permission before they come back to vote. All this in play around. And don't forget, as this month is the month of Ramadan, and the sun has been very hot today. Most of our brothers and sisters who are Muslims will want to observe their afternoon prayers before they turn out to vote. As we speak, that the numbers are picking up in most of the voting centers. I can assure you the numbers will pick up. It's just that the weather is not a bit conducive today. It's very hot here, and then coupled with fasting, it's not going to be an easy thing. But I can assure you the numbers are picking up.
There's heavy security presence, and some are saying that could be a reason why people are scared and intimidated to come out and cast their ballots. Are you also getting any signal?
Not at all, not at all. In fact, the presence of the security does not interfere in the electoral process anywhere, in any form. In fact, I've visited almost 20 of the polling centers, and the voters are even playing with the police, the security people. I mean, it's like a family affair. They are sitting there, very lively. I mean, we've never seen this before. All the by-election have participated. I can describe this as one of the best organized by-election, in the sense that it's very peaceful across. No incident whatsoever as of now. I mean, so how can this one be deterring people? That's not the case at all. I mean, they are there because of them. The police are there because of them. We don't want any miscreants to come and cause confusion or mar the beauty of the election. That's why they are there. I mean, so why would anybody think that the security is there to scare people not to come? That's not the case. I don't think so.
You've been there all day. The last primaries to elect your candidate in this particular by-election was marred by allegations of vote buying. Have you seen anything like that? Have you seen any of the candidates, whether it is yours, the MPPs, or the other candidates, sharing any money, television sets, or anything like that we saw in the previous primaries organized by the NDC?
I'm sure you know that our position, the NDC position on this matter you just raised. Our position is very clear on that matter. We abhor any act of inducement in any election. That is why when this issue came out, we set a 3-man committee to investigate the matter. They came out with their report. We had difficulty with the provisions in our constitution to deal with that matter. And the time frame was too short for them to file a candidate. That's why action was not taken. Nonetheless, the National Executive Committee, led by Venerable National Chairman, Honorable Rashid Tanko, expanded the scope of the team. We've now added 4 more members to the original 3 members to make it 7. And they are going into the matter to come out with workable recommendation of which we will incorporate it into our constitution going forward. If matters of that nature emanate, we'll deal with it. You cannot say that for our opponent MPP. They have institutionalized this kind of corrupt activities in their party. Just 31st January, look at what they did in their party. Did they even issue a 1-line statement to condemn their actions? I can speak for my party NDC that we are not dabbling in that matter because we are poor. And so this election, we are winning the election on clean slate. The performance of the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is top-notch. It has made the NDC campaign very easy. If your government is performing well, it makes your campaign as a political party easy. And that is what we are experiencing in Nima. Because the government is performing, the people are happy. You go to Nima, the market women, they are so happy. Everybody is coming, they are running to vote for NDC. They were buying a bag of rice, 1,000 cedis. Today they are buying a 400 Ghana cedis. Why wouldn't they go and vote for a party like NDC? These are some of the things we are talking about. So, as a party, we are winning based on the work the government has done over the 1 year we have been in office. And we also have a candidate who is a very experienced candidate. In fact, a former minister of that, a former MP, and a former deputy general secretary of that. He's a very experienced politician. So the people know that putting him in parliament will inure to their benefit. That That is why NDC is leading the charge today.
But Rashid, really, that's not the question I asked you, though. I asked you if you have seen any acts that seem to suggest that there's a vote buying, if you've seen any money exchanging hands, if you've seen people sharing items that could induce voters. Have you seen anything like that today?
That's what I'm saying. And I can speak for my party, the NDC. There's nothing of that sort going from the NDC. The NDC is not doubling in any of what you have just mentioned. I cannot speak for NPP, but we are monitoring them because we don't trust them. They can be doing that behind the scenes because they are noted for that. As for our party, you already know our position on that matter. And so therefore the NDC will not turn around. Now the party is leading the charge for the election. It's not the candidates. And so the party cannot be setting committee to deal with that matter and then turn around and be doing matters of that nature. No. And so this cannot be the case.
Rashid, hold on for me. Your colleague from the MPP, Divine Agbohom, is on the line right now. Divine, grateful for your time this afternoon. He's the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the opposition MPP. Divine, I want to believe that you've been monitoring this election since it began at 7 a.m. this morning. What is your assessment of it being so far?
So thank you for having me. So far here in Ayawaso East, it's been very good, quite a peaceful by-election. The process has gone on very smoothly, except to say that just as every other person is saying, the turnout appears to be very low. In a way, the reason attributable to this from most people that we have spoken to seem to suggest that it's because it's Ramadan season and they are fasting. It's also a working day, so the working class, are in their working places and hoping to come back in the evening. That's our prayers. And so for us as a political party, what we're trying to do is to, go to the various houses of our members that we know and to bring them out to come and vote. So that's what we are doing. Otherwise, everything here has been very peaceful so far.
Voter turnout. Looking at the way things are going, you were predicting about 38% votes for your candidate at the end of the day. Are you still standing by that?
Oh, yeah, very well so. Very well so. If you look at the historical analysis of what has prevailed here in the constituency so far, I think that is a realistic target to have. In the case of our opponent, yes, I've heard the info analysis prediction of 75% for the NDC candidate, and my friend on the other side, Rashid Tanko, claiming that they will even get more than 80%. But if you look at it, even when they were not having independent candidates, what was the percentage score that they were having? And now that they have Sanda, a very formidable candidate who seems to be taking away a chunk of their votes, I really wonder where Tanko is going to get that 80% he has been talking about. But as I said, Tanko pays nothing to JoyNews for saying all that he is saying. So, well, he can say that because talk is relative. But let's see, in a few hours' time, it will be over. Let's see whose game plan works. So for us, we are in opposition. We don't have the kind of money we hear they are giving to their voters to come and vote. So we are not doing that. I hear they are giving 300 to their, constituents to come out and vote.
Really?
I've not seen that, but that's the report my guys are giving me. I can only speak to what I have seen. So for me so far, I think that our message of getting a local person to represent this constituency in parliament, being a youth, somebody who understands the local dynamics here, knows the aspirations and the needs of the people, and he can best represent them in parliament. That's the candidate we have, and I'm so sure that the residents of this constituency will prove Musa Dankwa and Tanko wrong at the end of the day.
Divine, you are alleging that you've heard from your team that the NDC is giving out 300 Ghana cedis to electorates to come out and vote. And how much is the MPP giving electorates in the Ayawaso East constituency to come out and vote?
I've told you already that we are not doing that. We don't have that. But that's what I have heard. I'm trying to see if I'll be able to fish out some evidence to show to Tanko that this is what his people are doing. But until I am able to do that, I will maintain it as an allegation for now.
Rashid Tanko Computer, is that an allegation the NDC is going to take seriously? Allegations of giving delegates or electorates 300 Ghana cedis to come out and vote in the Ayawaso East by-election?
Chairman, good afternoon, Chairman Divine. Chairman, it's an allegation. I'm happy you are saying it's an allegation. It's not true. It's never true. The NDC is not into that kind of business at all, I can assure you. I am the Deputy Director of Elections and IT, and I'm in Chief Affairs today. I can assure you that, no, we are not into that matter, and we will never even do such a thing at all. So, Chairman, I can assure you, just ignore it. The NDC will not go that path at all. The people, we respect them a lot. They know us, and they know that they are going to vote for NDC. So why will we go about inducing them again? I mean, they are saying it, that things are better for them now. The economy is good. I mean, everything is getting well. Chairman has bought fuel today with lesser money. If it was 2024, he would have been buying fuel with huge money. So these are the things we are talking of. And we have done it for them. And also, Chairman, it's not true. Your people are not telling you the truth. The NDC will not do that. We are going to win based on the promises, the work we have done in the constituency. They will vote for us based on that. We will not induce anybody.
Rashid, yesterday we all saw Musa Dankwa of Global Info Analytics predict 75% of the votes going to your candidate, Baba Jamal, in this by-election. You also said that you were expecting something in the region of 70% and more. Do you still stand by that?
Yes. In fact, looking at the work we have done in the constituency, in fact, we are expecting more because we've worked well in the constituency. Our team of experts, campaign experts, were in the field for the past 2 weeks. They've been in the constituency propagating the good works of the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. You saw their last rally that we did on Sunday, led by the national chairman and then the chief of staff. All of them were there in the constituency. Government officials and party officials are all there. So we've done a lot of work. I am expecting that we should get more than what Issa Dankwa is telling us. But you know, it's a by-election because of the numbers that we are looking at. But I still keep my eye on the ball that the NDC can get up to 80% if the numbers pick up in the afternoon session.
Divine, you've been listening to Rashid Tanko Computer. He has refuted your allegations that they are sharing 300 Ghana cedis to the electorates in the Ayawaso East constituency to come out and vote.
Well, as I said, it's an allegation. That's what I heard from some of my guys. I said I'm making every effort to see if I'll be able to generate or lay my hands on some evidence so I can share with Tanko. But I want him to understand that he's spoken on air that he's expecting 80% of the votes in favor of his candidate. You ask him if he still stands by that, considering what's happening on the ground. We've met about twice already, and he knows very well that his prediction will be wrong. He knows it. And he's still saying that he will be scoring 80% of the vote. I'm saying that I will beat him to this election. He will be surprised. He's talking about John Mahama, his president, and telling us that what they've been able to do here. I would expect you to ask him straight. He should point to one. That one single thing that they've done. In any case, circulating the John Mahama that he's talking about. Where is he? This is the only by-election that we are not seeing the sitting president campaign for his party's candidate. That should be something, we should all be worried and asking questions. He knows that very well, that the crowd within their party will not give him the kind of vote that he is talking about. But, well, the accountants are saying that agronomy where we are in a few minutes, in a few hours' time, we should be done. The ballot will be sorted, counted, and then we'll see whether I am telling what the situation is on the ground or Alaji Tanko. So for me, I think that he saying that he's standing by his 80% prediction. Well, a few hours' time, we'll get to know that. Whilst I'm also making effort that we'll be able to get out our people to go and vote. Should I chance upon any evidence of his team giving money to induce the voters, I'll be too glad to share that evidence with you.
But while he's standing by his prediction, so are you by your 38% prediction, not so?
Yeah. I'm saying that from what I am seeing on the grounds here, at the end of the day, between 38 and 40%, my candidate, Baba Ali Yusuf, will score that. And if we are able to do that, then you can be sure that the election will be called in our favor.
This is a constituency that the NDC has ruled for more than 20 years. Don't you think that this is an exercise in futility by the MPP?
That the NDC has been winning this constituency over the years is not in dispute at all. But I'm saying that, you see, I have given you the credentials of our candidate versus their candidate. And again, we have another candidate who was hitherto a member of the NDC, who is standing as an independent candidate now. And if you watch all the video clips where the national chairman and the chief of staff and other members of the ruling NDC were in this constituency campaigning, all that they were trying to do was to appeal to somebody that they have sacked from their party, kind of threatening him and all, wanting him to voluntarily come back, instead of probably going to appeal to him to, consider reversing his decision to come and join. They were not telling the people what they have done or what they intend doing if their candidate should get to parliament. It's all about, Sanda to come back, Sanda, to come and openly declare that he has resigned his decision and he's come back to the party. That's what they've been doing. It's not been able, myself and Tanko, we've been on this, platform since yesterday or so, and I was expecting that he'll be telling us A or B, development that they've brought into this constituency. And it's all about, we have been winning this constituency, we have been winning this constituency. That is not in dispute. We have been winning this constituency. We are aware of that. But I'm saying that this time, considering the dynamics on the ground, we will beat you and your Musa Dankwa to your predictions.
Gentlemen, I want you to hold on for me. Let's go live on the ground once again and speak to my colleague Gemma Apia, who's standing by for us. Gemma, where are you and what is the situation?
There are two polling stations here, the polling station A and polling station B. On my far right is polling station B, and I just interacted with some of the officials there, and they tell me that 63 people have already cast their ballots. They're expecting 162 people to come in today to vote, but only 63 have cast their ballots. And they tell me that this is a predominantly Muslim community, and around this time, between 2 and 3, the Muslims are going to pray. And so after 3 p.m., 2 p.m., they're expecting more people. The party agents tell me that they have been going around telling their members to come to vote. One of them told me that he actually had to stand on the neck of one of his party members to come and vote, and he did so. Here is polling station, the A part of the polling station, interacting with the officials here to find out how the voting process is going for polling station A. But earlier on, I spoke to the police commander, the one in charge of this polling station, and then he tells me that some 20 police officers are here. They are just sitting and waiting. The process has been smooth so far, peaceful, no incidents of violence. But at 3 p.m., 4 p.m., they have the some police officers called Robocop. They are dressed like robots. They'll be coming in to shield in their gear to shield the ballot boxes and protect them before polls close and then counting begins. Let me get closer to the election official and have an interaction with him about how the process has been so far. Welcome to JoyNews. Tell us how many people have voted so far.
72. Yeah, we have 70. We have posted 72 voted as of now.
As at now, out of the 249 expected registered voters, which is obviously around 29% or so, as at now. What time is it? So we are about 2 hours or so to 5. Yeah, the process has been smooth, been quiet though, and then orderly. As you can see, the security officers around, they have been here since morning, and then we have also been processing them as when they come. Just that it's not too busy, as you can see yourself.
29%, that doesn't look encouraging.
But it's not 5 o'clock yet, is it? It's not 5 o'clock.
You're expecting more people to come?
Yes, that's what we've been told, that this is a predominant Muslim community and they are praying and fasting. So I've been told that after 2-3 o'clock going, they will come in their numbers to vote. So we're expecting them until 5. You can't predict, make any final conclusions or final generalizations, because you won't know. Voters these days are very unpredictable. You know what I mean? The next hour, do you know what will tend to be? So you still have time. And remember that even 4:59, if a voter is still in the queue, per our existing law, is supposed to process the voter. So until that, it's hard to predict. But that notwithstanding, in the past, if you have been following our voting trajectory in the past couple of years, it's been by elections. It's not been, we are not recording a very high turnout or numbers. But this one, we don't know what it will be, but we are still hopeful.
So you are preparing for more people to come in the next hour or two?
Yes, because until it's 5, like I said earlier, you can't tell. You see, given the condition, I mean, this is a constituency specific case I'm talking about. They are Muslims, and I've been told that when they come up early at dawn to prepare their meals, and the rest they go back, and then in the afternoon, the evenings, they'll come back and then also to vote. This is from the polling agent who are familiar with the people and also familiar with the terrain that we are working with. So per what they've been telling us, it's hopeful. So we are still here. Officials are here. We are working.
But so far, do you have any challenges with the BVD, and has anybody come here complained that the person's name is not in the register?
No, I think the process has been just progressive, you see, and then seamless. The device is working optimally, and then so far when the voter comes, you process him or her, and then he or she goes through the process. We have not encountered any hitch since morning. And that's what we are expecting. The machines are, I mean, the device is up to standard and they are working perfectly. The officials are also there, as you can see. So, so far it's so good. I've had a good day and we are still counting on them that the voters will come up and vote.
Thank you very much. So, Ken, you heard the election official, the presiding officer, telling me that the process has been smooth and peaceful so far. But not a number or a lot of people have showed up to vote. They're expecting more people to come, getting close to the end of the polls, to come and cast their ballots. The police have been here since morning, ensuring security and peaceful polls. They're also preparing for the time that will come where they would have to count the ballot after the polls are closed at 5 p.m. But the presiding officer tells me that they are ready for anybody. Even if you come here at 4:59, they would allow you to cast your ballot. So until 5 p.m., they are here and prepared to assist anyone who comes here to cast his or her ballots. Ken.
Gemma Apia, thank you very much for that update. Stephen Mensah is also on standby for us. Stephen, I understand you are at the NDC Collation Center. What can you tell us? Have they started tabulating the results? Hello, Stephen.
NDC supporters over here. And this is the coalition center for the NDC for the Ayawaso by-elections. And what I gather so far will be that the numbers have started trickling in for the parliamentary elections for the Ayawaso East constituency. I want to get closer to the NDC's Deputy General Secretary for this for the party NDC to pick her thoughts on what she makes of the election so far. You're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you very much.
I'd want to start with your overall impression of the election.
Thank you very much. Having gone around a bit, I can say that everything is peaceful and orderly. And the turnout is a bit slow, but it's understandable because this is largely an Islamic community and the fasting is ongoing. So you don't expect to see that kind of energetic movement around. But so far we are okay. We hope that our people are still moving around from house to house to get the votes out. But even from what we have seen so far, we are okay.
So you're confident of the 70% mark, or the 70% win for you?
Well, I can assure you that even if 10 people turn out to vote, we will get our 70%. That's the most important thing. You know, by-elections are normally, turnouts are normally low during the by-elections, and you don't expect that kind of massive turnout, considering the fact that, like I said earlier, the place is largely Islamic community and they are doing their Ramadan fasting. But whatever number that turns out, we will get our 70%.
This is the coalition center for the NDC. Yes. What are the numbers telling you right now?
So far, we don't have any numbers, but we know that voting is going on. Initially in the morning was quite low, but as time goes on, people are moving in to vote. As you can see, people are moving out to do the last minute, get the votes out exercise. So they are going to go into the communities to find out if there are still people who haven't voted, so that they will go out and vote. We are also coming to set up the coalition. So we are expecting that by and large, we'll get our 70%.
My last question to you will be about what the MPP says. They are alleging that you are engaging in some gift-giving and vote-buying incidents. Is that true?
I don't actually know why MPP decided to contest this seat, because it's not different from Tamale Central. And once they have come and they know the numbers they are going to get, they must definitely find something to say. You have been here for a very long time. I have seen you around. Have you seen anybody sharing anything here?
You tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm interested to know. Are you engaging in vote buying?
No, we are not. Have you had any incident of vote buying here? We've been here with you. Some of your colleagues are also going around, moving from polling stations. We have learned a lot from what happened in Ayawaso East during our primaries. And we don't want to do anything that will look like the party itself is endorsing that kind of behavior. And so I can assure you that nothing like that has happened. But MPP know, they know very well that they are not going to make any impact. And so to justify why they haven't made any impact, that is why they have started talking about vote buying. Elections are going on in open places. I don't think anybody has seen anybody sharing. This is our coalition center. If it was in an enclosed area, then you will say that probably people are hiding in rooms and things are happening. This is an open place. Have you seen anybody even bringing anything that's suspicious in here? No. So please, my brother, we are not engaged in any vote buying here. It won't happen. This is our stronghold, and we don't expect anything different.
Some of the concerns from these residents you've spoken to, they say you've been in power since 1992, but then you've not really done for them. They say you've not really done anything substantive enough for this constituency. What will change this time for you?
No, I'm sure that largely these things happen. Our strongholds, that is not only NDC that has this problem. MPP also has the same challenge where I would say that our strongholds tend to think that we take them for granted. But we have never taken Ayawaso.
You are not taking Ayawaso for granted?
No, at all, we haven't. You can see that they have quite good roads. And I can assure you that the NDC constructed these roads. They have one. And so whatever we have to do to make their lives comfortable, we'll do it. If you live in such a compact community, it's very, very difficult to see the kind of development that goes on in other areas because you don't even have the space to do any massive. So it is the lives of the people that you can touch. And I can assure you that we have impacted a lot of people's lives here.
The residents want an expansion of the markets, the Nima market. They also say they want better improvement in their sanitation, the drainages, places of convenience. Are these not things you've not done well enough for them?
That's why I'm saying that it's because of the compact nature of the area, without any space for expansion. It is very difficult to bring up any massive infrastructure work here. But the little that we can do, we will continue doing it. As you can see, I'm sure as you move around, you have seen that there are some activities ongoing in the constituency. They will not see that kind of robust development going on in other areas because there is no space for it. It doesn't mean that we will leave them like that. We will improve on the sanitation, whatever we can do to make sure that their lives are better than at least before, we will do it. Whatever they have told us during this by-election, we've taken it in good faith, and I can assure you that we are going to do our best.
I'll be glad if you could walk with me and take me through how your collation center will be.
We are yet, because it's an open place and we don't have any enclosed areas like the ones we've been doing before. This is where, let's pass here. So as you can see, we ourselves, this is where we are at the moment. We are hanging around here, but we are clearing this place, this whole space for we are clearing this whole place for the main exercise to take place here. As you can see that we are moving the people out. And so we are coming to clean here and then do the setup. This is where we are going to do the setup. As you can see, we have our photocopier and fax machine over there. We are going to clear all this area and then set up our screens, the monitors and the computers that we are going to use to do that. So in the next 30 minutes, this place will be completely different. I get it right because they don't really have any place that you can undertake such activities. But all in all, we are going to make use of what we have.
So in the next 30 minutes, we should expect numbers trickling in over here? Or this place being set up?
Well, yes, this place will be set up. The numbers will start trickling in, let's say after 30 minutes after 5 o'clock. But we are going to get ready so that as soon as the numbers start coming, we'll be ready to receive them and start our collation.
I'm just interested, when are you looking to put out your numbers as to you, if you win?
We have given ourselves maximum 1 hour to finish the collation, but it will also depend on those who are going to feed the system. If we get the results coming in as quickly as we are expecting, within an hour we should be able to know the numbers. Yes. So you can stick and stay here with us, then you see that by 6:30 we'll be ready with our numbers.
6:30?
By 6:30 we should have. Maximum 7 o'clock we'll have our results. Let's give ourselves some 1 hour because of the counting and the sorting and all that. So, but the systems that we have put in place, as soon as the votes are counted, we'll get the provisional results. But as you are aware, we are not electoral commission, so we cannot declare the results. So we would have to still wait for the electoral commission's pink sheet to compare with what we had. Our agents who are there, what they will send to us, we still have to wait for the Electoral Commission's pink sheet to compare with them if they are the same before we can actually do the projections.
Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you.
So that was the Deputy General Secretary for the NDC, and she has been talking about the preparations for today and what their projections will be for this by-election. She says within the next 30 minutes, this place will be set up for their collation center. And where I'm standing is their collation center, the makeshift collation center for the NDC for this by-election. And she says latest by in an hour time after close of polls, they should expect, or we should expect, their projections as to what their numbers are telling them for this contest. 113 polling stations for this elections. We'll be giving you the updates as to what happens from here.
This is your election headquarters. Dr. Jonathan Asantiotre is a political analyst and the executive director of the African Institute of Strategic Studies. He's joining me for a conversation on the back of this. And we already have Rashid Tanko Computer, who's the Deputy Director of IT and Research with the governing NDC. We also have Divine Agbohum, who is the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Opposition MPP. Divine and Rashid Tanko Computer, I'll come to you. But in the meantime, though, let me start with you, Dr. Jonathan Asante-Otre. You've been monitoring the by-elections. We understand that there's low voter turnout. I'm not the best mathematician in the world, but our reporters tell us that in one particular polling station, for example, they expected about 500 people to vote, but just a little over 40 persons have voted. Who stands to lose or gain in this particular instance?
Good afternoon to your viewers and to your good self. Obviously, the one that is holding a dominant force in that particular constituency stands, a greater chance at losing, not as in losing the elections, but he is disadvantaged, so to speak, because he will need a higher voter turnout, as it were, to use it as a bragging right. And you see, the stakes may not be high, but the bragging right is something that the NDC is waiting out for, as it were, to go to the market and use that as it were to whip the MPP. And so there is no way you can say that a low voter turnout is advantageous to the NDC. No, it is rather disadvantageous to the NDC.
We've been getting some explanations. One of them is that it's a predominantly Muslim community. So because of the fasting, most of them are away and might return later to come and cast their ballots. But aside from this explanation we're getting, from your analytical point of view, what do you think is the reason why people are staying away from this particular by-election?
Well, probably they may be catching the Ashanti region disease that happened to the MPP in the 2024 elections. If you remember carefully, the delegates in Ashanti region really fleeced the contestants in that area. And of course, some of those who won the delegate elections were not the overwhelming favorite of the general electorate. So what the general electorate was saying was that, well, if you guys have gone for fridges and TVs and thousands of dollars, then you should, if it is either they bring them the same set of things that they gave to a delegate, or they're not going to vote. That is what happened in some part of the Ashanti region, in some of the constituencies. I don't want to think that the Ashanti disease is equally about to affect the NDC in the Ayawaso East constituency. If that is the case, then it means that we are looking at an apathy. But fortunately for the current government, they have the overwhelming support of the general public. Global Financial data show that the approval rating of the president is around 81% before this particular election. So that means that it is quite huge if we are using that as the basis. Therefore, I am expecting the goodwill of the central government to trickle down, right, to create some kind of advantage for Mr. Baba Jamal. But as I said earlier on, if the voter turnout continues to be like this, then it means that Mr. Baba Jamal will be the one being disadvantageous. Apart from that, it will also send some kind of message to the general public and to the NDC in particular that, look, there is a possibility of an apathy. Long before this election, we have been picking some information on the ground that the grassroots call those who have found position in government, and they don't seem to pick up their calls. So I don't want to think that that particular disease, has caught up with the NDC, and they are seeing this kind of apathy, growing. The Muslim, community factor is something that we must not, gloss our eyes over. Definitely, people are hungry and they are fasting. Maybe they think that this is a worldly event, and as they are fasting, they wouldn't want to get themselves engaged in things that are murkier than what it ought to be, and so they may decide to stay away. But obviously, if other Muslims have come out to vote, we just have to believe that there may be some one or two reasons. That's the more reason why they haven't come out to vote. But by and large, by elections, when the stakes are not that high, you wouldn't see, majority of them come out to vote.
All factors considered, including the low voter turnout, the predominant Muslim community, do you think that the prediction by Global Info Analytics that the NDC's candidate is winning by 75% of the vote will still happen?
Yeah, that is where I have a slight problem. And of course, I predicated my argument by saying that it is not because Baba Jamal may not be popular. It is not because the central government has not done well. It is because there will be a low voter turnout. I said so. And if there is, that 75% will be difficult.
Right. We saw Johnson Esiedu Nketia, who is the national chairman of the NDC, campaign with Baba Jamal in the constituency a number of times. But one person we did not see is the president of the Republic and the leader of the NDC, John Mahama, in that particular area with Baba Jamal. Already there are rumors that Baba Jamal is in the camp of Johnson Esiedu Nketia, who we are hearing will likely contest for the flag bearer position of the NDC. Is it a concern that the sitting president did not campaign for a candidate who is vying for a by-election in that particular constituency?
It should be a concern, but probably because they also believe that this is a foregone conclusion. But apart from that, the president that recalled his own appointee from Nigeria as a kind of punitive measure against the supposedly vote buying thing that Mr. Baba Jamal was supposedly engaged in, having recalled him, for him to show up would be a reinforcement of, it would be adversarial to the position that he took earlier on. So I do not expect the president to be there. Neither was I expecting the vice president to be there. So most likely this is going to be a party affair. And it is true that Mr. Baba Jamal is in the camp of Mr. Esiedu Nketia. It was long rumored before even the by-election, before the delegate elections took place. And so within the party, that is something that information is out there. But I think that the decision of the president to stay away is good. It reinforces his decision to withdraw Mr. Baba Jamal before he himself had the opportunity to resign. So for him to come there, I mean, that would have been very problematic,
right,
in terms of philosophy, because it wouldn't have augured well for him in terms of his speech. Yeah.
Dr. Asante Okyere, don't go yet. Let me bring in Rashid Tanko Computer at this point. Rashid, you've been listening to Dr. Asante Okyere there. I would ask him the question that I asked him before coming to you about we seeing the optics, the general secretary or the national chairman of your party, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, campaigning for Baba Jamal in that area, but we didn't see the leader of your party and the president of the Republic, John Mahama, do same for him. Is this a way that Johnson Esiedu Nketia is introducing himself to the electorate that in the next elections you're probably going to see me contest? Hello, Rashid. Please unmute your microphone so we can hear you. Right, we're still waiting for Rashid Tanko Computer to unmute his microphone so that we can continue the conversation here. You're still watching JoyNews. This is our comprehensive coverage of the Ayawaso East by-election, which is currently happening. Rashid, I want to try you one more time. Can you hear me now?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. Did you get my question?
No, I think you have to repeat it. I was offline.
Right. I was saying that the national chairman of your party, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, was seen campaigning with your candidate, Baba Jamal, but we never saw the president of the Republic and the leader of your party, John Mahama, do same. People are saying that already there's some sort of friction in your party where there's the Esiedu Nketia camp and then there's the John Mahama camp. Is that something that should be a cause for worry?
On Sunday, you saw the Chief of Staff, Honorable Julius Debra, led a high-powered government delegation into the constituency and to campaign for Baba Jamal. At that point, the president was outside the country attending international program in Tanzania, Arusha, opening of the African port. I mean, so this propaganda is flat. It's completely flat. It's not a propaganda at all. They should just ignore that. The Chief of Staff led government officials into the constituency. Sunday, they were together with the national chairman, and they all campaigned vigorously. And we had the last rally on Sunday. All government officials from the Flash House were all there. I mean, so if somebody is saying this, then the person is not following through what is going on in Ayawaso East.
That means the Chief of Staff represented the president, correct?
Of course, that is it. Of course, if anytime you see the Chief of Staff attending a function, be sure that he's doing that on behalf of the president.
Then that
is why he's the Chief of Staff.
That also raises another concern and another question, that this is the president who relieved Baba Jamal of his duty as the Ghanaian High Commissioner to Nigeria, and now he is, sending delegation to go and campaign for him. Is that a subtle endorsement of the vote buying that marred the primaries in the NDC primaries that saw his election?
Don't forget, the president is a leader of the party. He's a leader of the party. The party took a decision on that matter. The party couldn't have taken the decision with a recourse to the action taken by the president. Don't forget, the party, even when the president was relieving Honorable Baba Jamal of this, he made reference to the action taken by the party for forming that committee to come out with a recommendation on that matter. So the party hinges on some of the actions taken by the president, who is the leader, currently the leader of the party. And so it isn't that the president is endorsing one thing or the other thing. This is the president who respects the party constitution, and he also respects the ethics and convention of the party, what we've been doing. He's the leader. And then so the party position is very clear. We are against inducement of any type or any form. The party is against it.
Right.
And so the president is very clear in his mind on that matter. But because of the exigency of the situation we found ourselves at that period, the party came out with its white paper based on the committee report. And it was very clear. And I'm sure we're not going to repeat it now. You already know the position of the party. And so it's not like the party leader is endorsing that. He's the number one opponent of that matter. He's against it. And he will not allow this thing to happen. And that is why he asked that we should expand the mandate, let them bring out a recommendation. We will incorporate it into our party constitution. So going forward, nobody will double in that kind of act again, because this is an egalitarian political party that gives opportunity to all manner of persons who find himself in the NDC. So we don't want the party to go to a higher bidder. And then so the president is very clear in his mind about it.
Right. Divine Agbohum is still on the line with me. Divine, I want to pick your thoughts on this exact conversation that we're currently having.
Yeah, so thank you. I would first of all want to comment on what the Deputy General Secretary said. I overheard her on your station saying that, they've not been able, or admitting that they've not been able to undertake any major development project here because there's no space. The place is so compact, they are not able to find any place to undertake any development project. I would want Tanko to respond to this, because since yesterday and then also this morning, I made it clear that all the major development projects here in Ayawaso East were all undertaken by the MPP. So the NDC is only taking advantage of the people here in Ayawaso East, for which reason we are insisting that this by-election should be an opportunity for the constituents of Ayawaso East here to teach the NDC some lesson, that they cannot continue taking them for granted and always come around and be expecting that they will vote for them.
But
the lady admitted it. But said that they've not been able to do any such thing, except that she's giving reasons why they've not been able to do that. If you come to Ayawaso East, all
Hello, Divine. Unfortunately, we've lost Divine Agbohum on the line there. He's the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the opposition MPP there. I still have Rashid Tanko Computer on the line with me. He's also the Deputy Director of IT and Election with the NDC. I understand we have Divine back on the line. Divine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Right.
I was re-emphasizing the point that the NDC as a political party over the period has been taking advantage of their constituents here in Ayawaso East. They come for their vote and they don't do anything for them in return. Somehow they've been able to, deceive the people into thinking that MPP tradition, once upon a time, sacked their people from this country, for which reason they should vote for the NDC, because should they vote for the MPP, we will come and sack them. This has gone into their kind of subconscious to such an extent that they are always, voting for NDC, and in return, NDC is not doing anything for them. I'm asking Tanko, I overheard the Deputy General Secretary, the lady you spoke to earlier, your reporter interviewed her. She admitted to this and said that the reason they've not been able to do anything here is that there's no space. The place is so compact, they are not able to find any space. But you go around, you see drains that, are crying for repair, are crying for covering. The major drain here in Ayawaso East is a project that was done by President Kufuor under the NPP first term in government. You can talk about the hospital, the Nima government hospital here was also done by the NPP. I'm making all this reference of intervention development projects that we have done here in this constituency. Meanwhile, they have not been voting for us, they've been voting for.
Gentlemen, I want you all to stay with me because we've been hearing from Baba Jamal. Let's cross over to the Ayawaso East constituency where my colleague Fatal Bayaga has been engaging Baba Jamal.
Willing and hoping to win in this particular election is Baba Jamal. And Baba Jamal has arrived here as one of the polling stations at the Information Services Department area. And he's been monitoring the process so far this very afternoon. In fact, the supporters here are all optimistic that he is going to be the man to lead the Ayawaso East constituency. He's been working feverishly over the period, even though a lot of controversies have, over the period surrounded him, but he has remained very, very steadfast in his belief that he remains the best person to lead the Ayawaso East constituency. Controversies upon controversies. There was a committee that was set up to investigate alleged vote buying during the NDC's primaries. He was cleared to contest in this election. And then another big obstacle for him was an application filed at the Accra High Court to halt this particular by-election. The court yesterday sat on this case. The trial judge, Justice Ajenem Boatin, struck out the Democracy Hub application, describing it as incompetent and upholding the NPP's argument that it was defective. Baba Jamal is here. He's been monitoring the process since morning. Thank you very much. You are live on Joy News. How has the process been for you?
Okay, now you see, this is the typical Ayawaso behavior. You can see since morning, not even a single incident of violence has happened. We are only praying that it goes up to the counting and declaration when we don't have any violence here. The process has been peaceful. You can see all the policemen that were brought around are just relaxing. They don't have much to do. The only problem is that the turnout has been low, which we know, typical of all by-elections, the turnout will be low. And so we expect that the turnout will not be as the national elections. But we are hoping that by the close of the day, this by-election is in a weekday and also in the fasting period. So these two major factors are affecting the turnout. But we are very hopeful that by the close of the day, things will improve and we will have a peaceful election.
Don't you think that this would affect your chances of garnering more votes? Global Info Analytics step you to win with 75% of the votes here today. Given the turnout at the moment, are you convinced that you would poll a lot of votes today?
I don't want to comment on the Info Analytics and their polls. You know, he did the first one, which he got all wrong.
He got all wrong?
He got everything wrong. And so how do we rely on the second one? But whatever it is, I don't want to discredit a Ghanaian pollster, because he seems to be doing well until this Ayawaso when I don't know what happened to him.
But he said that, you know, because you have induced the voters, you've done a lot of things that probably affected his prediction.
I don't want to go into that, because every credible polls take into consideration all external factors before it comes out with its results. So it is not about somebody inducing. It is about you taking into consideration all your factors and then come out with your results. I have come out to say openly that I have not done anything wrong. And so he cannot depend on that to justify whatever he has done. And that is why I'm saying that he got everything wrong. Now, this second one he has come, we are skeptical about it. I'm not saying it is bad, but we are skeptical about it. And we will only know what he has done when after the elections has been declared. So let's wait for the declaration.
But don't you think that your controversies, the controversies that surrounded you, would affect your chance today? Don't you think that this could affect your chance of winning this particular seat today?
I have done nothing wrong, and so I don't know the controversy you are talking about. It is allegations that people raise, and I have not done anything wrong, and so I don't see the controversy you are talking about. What I want to see is a peaceful election, is election, incident-free elections, so that at the end of the day, we will come out victorious as a constituency, which has its own image that is a bit negative. We are changing the narrative, and that's what we want to see.
But the last one before you go, the last one, you have left the High Commission position. So Baba Jamal there talking to us about his chances so far as far as this election is concerned. His supporters will not allow me to proceed with the interview, but he has been very confident that he's going to win this particular election. In fact, I wanted to ask him, why has he ditched, or why has he decided to leave the High Commission in Nigeria to come to Ghana to contest as a member of parliament? I wanted to really hear that response from Baba Jamal, but his supporters or lieutenants will not allow me to get that. But it's been very interesting. We are going to track him down again, and we'll bring you all of those responses as we give you a comprehensive coverage of the Ayawaso East by-election.
Well, thank you very much, Fatal Bayaga, for that update. Dr. Jonathan Asantiotre is still with me, together with Rashid Tanko Computer of the NDC and Divine Agbohum of the MPP. Dr. Jonathan Asantiotre, I want to pick your immediate thoughts on the words we heard from the NDC's Baba Jamal.
Well, he appears quite sober. You could see that the fasting is having a toll on him. And of course, going about in some kind of brisk campaigning, asking people to come and vote in itself is quite tedious. I think that he provided the right answers. He feels that he's done nothing wrong. Of course, I have my view on that, a different view on that. With respect to not relying on global info analytics, he's also quite right, because in actual fact, he got the delegate elections, wrong. And so, but he also says that, well, it is not his business to discredit a Ghanaian poster, but he's quite skeptical. Well, if they have given you 75%, that for me is good news. He should rely on that and work a little harder if he indeed he wants to get a little more than 75. But I have said time without number that as long as you have a low voter turnout, it is definitely going to affect that high percentage that was given him by the Global Info Analytics. I am only expecting the advantage that the central government brings, to the constituency as something that Mr. Baba Jamal can use that as a leverage to get people to come and vote for him. But unfortunately, we seem to have a very low voter turnout, but it is still not over yet. Those who predicted that by 3 p.m. they may be coming out, we are at least almost 3:30, and we've not seen any information to the contrary that the people have been coming out. It could be a good test case for Mr. Tanko and his team when everything is said and done, for them to do an introspective analysis. I don't want to think that things that we have been hearing on the ground in terms of voter apathy is something that is starting from Ayawaso East. If it does, then it means that the NDC will have to do a lot more as a party in government and as a party that will be preparing for 2028 elections. Because we are looking at an area that has avowedly supported the NDC by hook or by crook. So if you have a situation where the majority of the voters do not come out, they should be more worried. They should be more worried.
Right. Dr. Asantiocho, I want to take you back to an interview my colleague Stephen Mensah had with one of the executives of the NDC not long ago. He asked her that there are concerns that this is a stronghold of the party. They've been, ruling the party, ruling the constituency for a very long time, and people are complaining that they've not seen much development in that area. She sought to suggest that that is not the case, but that is a broader challenge with both the MPP and NDC when it appears that they appear to abandon their strongholds and not, push developmental projects into constituencies that people say is a stronghold of the party. Even if they don't do enough, they are likely to win. Let's talk about strongholds of parties and the seeming neglect when it comes to development.
Well, there is a risk there, a risk to the party that appears to have a stronger hold of a particular constituency, because by party strategy, areas where you do not have, some kind of support, you want to send certain developmental projects there, strategic ones, of course, so that, they may change their mindset. Now, very soon, my think tank will be coming out with a position paper, as it were, advocating or arguing as to which of the zone, you have 3 zones, which of the zone, will favor the NDC going into the 2028 elections. And so that one will come out, in due time. But you see, there is that temptation of not doing more for the areas where you have that massive support. It is just because the people believe in the philosophy of the party. From the cradle of the party, you will see that the NDC has identified themselves with the Zongo community, going as far back as Mr. Rawlings' era. And that is the more reason why, the North, for example, has overly supported the NDC. It is a trickling down effect of the interventions of Mr. Rawlings and how over the period they seem to feel at home within the NDC. So it's a very dicey situation, to hazard a guess. But I think that it is equally not accurate for the opposition to suggest that the NDC hasn't done any developmental project within the Ayawaso East. I think that is not the case. My checks indicate that they have built some healthcare infrastructure, some drainage systems, roads infrastructure, especially the Kanda, highway, Kanda overpass, renovation of certain facilities in terms of hospital research, Islamic Research Institute, and so on and so forth. They may not be enough, but to suggest that every monumental project in Ayawaso East has been, done by the MPP, I think that is an overkill. That apart, generally, Ayawaso East happens to find itself within the center of Accra. And so when the government is undertaking general development, of which Greater Accra has always had a better share than any other city in this country, then you have to expect that Ayawaso East, will definitely be a beneficiary of the whole. But it is a good call on the NDC, especially if we do not see, a turnout that will be a bit, encouraging, maybe around 67 to 70%. If we don't see that, as I said earlier on, then they may have to go onto the board to do some introspective analysis, because I am aware that some of the grassroots of the NDC have been complaining. The government is performing creditably well as far as, governance is concerned in terms of development, in terms of the economy. But the grassroots, those who help the party to come to power, they are complaining. Why are they complaining? Some of them say that even when they place a call, people that at first call they will pick, now they don't pick. They don't respond to their messages. That in itself could create voter apathy. It is a disease that affected the MPP. I expect the NDC to be able to, go beyond that, because they have been in power, they've been in opposition, they've been in power, they've been in opposition, and now they are in power. So these types of experiences is something that they should not overlook, because if it protracts, then it's going to affect the goodwill of the party generally. But with the way and manner the president has handled the affairs of this country, I think that explains why Global Info Analytics makes us understand that the approval rating of the president is somewhere 81%.
Dr. Santiochi, don't go yet. Rashid Tanko Computer is still with us. He's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections with the governing NDC. Rashid, what should the constituents of Ayawaso East expect from an NDC MP should Baba Jamal emerge victorious by 5 p.m. today?
I indicated earlier that we have a very experienced candidate. Don't forget, he's been a former MP before. He was an MP for Akotia, and then now he's showing strong interest here, and the people are very much interested in him to lead them. He's been a minister before and a deputy general secretary. So his credentials alone tells you that they are in for a good candidate, the constituent. And then I can assure you, he will continue the good work of our former MP, Honorable Nazar Toure. And like our deputy general secretary said, a lot of things are going on. We will continue to push the agenda of developing the community, the Nimo community. A lot of their challenges have to do with drains, and then some of the gutters and sanitation being their challenge. We are working on that. In fact, recently the local government minister visited the place to make sure that they push for this agenda. Our government is doing something. They 24-hour economy market. NIMA is earmarked for one of it, and a lot of infrastructure are going to be put up in the market just to enhance the business of our market women and men in the constituency. So this government means business for the constituency, and then the voting of Baba Jamal will push that agenda forward.
Your candidate has seemingly rejected the prediction by Global Info Analytics. Is that a good sign?
Well, when I heard him, he didn't reject it. He was a bit cautious about their outcome. I mean, he didn't reject that. He just indicated he's being cautious of what they put out there. And then that is, he's a candidate, he's being cautious. As a political party, we take on board whatever he brings, yes. We also look at it, go into the drawing board, look at the gray areas, and try to iron out some of the difficulties and work on it to make sure that it comes to pass. And then we don't discount it. He himself didn't discount it. He was just a bit cautious. And then you need to be cautious because this is by-election. It's not a general election. And then so that's where the issue is. It's not that we are dismissed.
Are we likely, this question is to Dr. Asante-Okyere, are we likely to see more turnout in the last 1 hour and a half to the polls closing?
Well, I can only hope that we get a large turnout to exercise their franchise. But if the factors that have impeded the high turnout remain the same, then unfortunately, this is the kind of turnout that we are going to have. That would be quite unfortunate.
There are concerns that by-elections like these ones should be held on weekends so that it allows and affords people the time and opportunity to, be able to exercise their franchise, which could curb the issue of by-election getting low turnouts like the ones we're getting. Is that a proposal you would support for by-elections to deliberately be held on weekends for more people to participate in?
Well, yes, I do support that because over the years, if I'm not wrong, every by-election has been on a Tuesday, unless it is the national election that is specified for the 7th of December. Other than that, every by-election has been, a Tuesday. But you are looking at a community in which, people go to work and you want them to go and spend time to be in that queue and go and vote on a Tuesday, when in actual fact, they will not get anything in return. So what that will happen is that you put a lot more pressure on the candidate to motivate these electorate, as it were, behind the scenes to come and vote, to sacrifice whatever earnings they are going to make for the day just to go and vote. So if they are hazarding, a change in terms of the day, I think I'm all for it. I was even going to propose a Friday, but if it will not affect our Muslim colleagues. If we send it to Saturday, our SDA colleagues will also, complain. If we send it to Sunday, we are going to have a situation where the larger population of Christians will equally have, an issue with that. So weekend, maybe Friday wouldn't be a bad idea. Our Muslim colleagues can vote and still go to the mosque.
Right.
But with Saturday, they would tell you that they wouldn't want to engage in it at all. But of course, we still have different views when it comes to that particular issue. So I am for it, that we should look at the date. If Friday wouldn't be bad, I think we can go for Fridays.
Right. Gentlemen, I want you to stay with me. Let's cross over live to the grounds and speak to my colleague Fatal Bayaga, who is currently engaging the former CEO of NPA, Henry Kwabena Kokofu.
Station just in front of one of the polling stations where the voter turnout has been quite slow. But one formidable member of the New Patriotic Party and former EPA boss, Kwabena Kokofu, is right here to monitor the process. Thank you very much, sir. You're live on JoyNews. Talk to us about your observations so far. Is it looking good for the MPP?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers. Yes, of course, it looks good for us. We came into the contest to win. But at the end of the day, we are amenable to whatever decision the people will take. Having said that, I'm not impressed about the turnout, and quite explanatory. I mean, you can explain it away by saying that by-elections are normally very slow. Today is a working day, so no wonder we are witnessing a very slow pace. But the most important thing is the whole thing has been peaceful. There had never been any intimidation so far where I've gone to. Anyway, if there had been, we would have resisted though. No violence as well. So I'm okay with the process. The police presence is quite exciting and interesting. The EC are up to their task. Our agents are also vigilant as usual.
But this is largely an NDC stronghold. And for many, it will be very tough for the New Patriotic Party to be able to, make history by winning this particular seat as far as this by-election is concerned. Do you agree with that?
Well, I do agree, but there had always been an exception to the court case. Being NDC stronghold, not notwithstanding, if you're able to get our people all coming out to vote, look at the sparse nature and then the slow pace and the apathy that are setting within the constituency. Even though we do agree that by-elections normally do not attract large numbers, the level of development in the area is quite discouraging, and that is what the people are looking at, and they are feeling discouraged to come out to vote. They've always voted NDC, and they are seeing nothing in terms of development, and so they may want to change their hands this time around, or possibly 2028. We are using this as a test case, a grounding test, and then preparing ourselves as we continue to rebuild our party into a formidable force. Don't forget, recently we got our flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and we are gearing towards the proper structuring of the party at the various levels. So, yes, it is a daunting task, but it can be done.
But you said that the NDC has not done anything, or this area has been, lagging behind when it comes to development. But the NDC explains that now the economy is good, the people are very happy, even they are in the month of Ramadan, they don't struggle to buy sugar and other things. So this is a clear indication that the party is performing well, and that for that reason, the people would say, okay, let's give the NDC the chance in this election.
Well, that is what the government is saying. If that is what the people think, that's another different thing. But don't forget that in the era of J.A. Kufuor, His Excellency, his first 2 terms, he saw 2 terms. Ghanaians were praising the government and the president all around, with the introduction of free SHS, introduction of school feeding program, restructuring the economy, declaration of golden age of doing business, a whole manner of things, and the economy was on its threshold. We discovered oil in commercial quantities at that time. Yet at 2008, we suffered a very painful and surprise defeat. So we don't give up. They can tout themselves as they want. The final judges will be Ghanaians. Ghanaians will tell you that yes, inflation has gone down, but we don't chop inflations. They will tell you that the CD dollar is appreciable, but they will not chop dollar. Look at what's happening on the cocoa growing areas. Cocoa farmers are being shortchanged, and for the first
are they being shortchanged?
Yes, of course. And for the first time in the history of this country, the poor cocoa farmer sees himself or herself at the end of exploitation.
This is a global challenge. Even Cote d'Ivoire, we're told that is also going to go through such a very difficult situation. And if, in fact, according to the routers, their situation may even be worse as compared to what we are seeing in Ghana.
COVID-19 wasn't a global disaster. The Ukraine-Russia war wasn't a disaster during the days of Akufo-Addo. But today, the fall in cocoa price is a disaster. It's a global disaster, so you should accept. Go and check. 2017, there was similar downturn in cocoa pricing. Yet Akufo-Addo maintained the guaranteed price for Ghanaian cocoa farmers. Go and check. During the days of President J.A. Kufuor, there was a downturn, a decrease in cocoa prices globally. Yet, President Kufuor went ahead and increased the prices. So this is not an excuse. We've seen it before. We've experienced it before. What was done at that time by the government that the President Mahama himself criticized and called the criminalization of the economy, he was able to withstand the downturn and the cut on the global price of cocoa and maintained the price of for our Ghanaian gallant farmers. And I mean, respecting the farmers, cocoa farmers, and giving them their due and their dignity, it has been proven that it is NPP that has the heart to do that. And that is what is happening. Nobody should come and tell us that it's a global phenomenon. Ghanaians won't listen. Ghanaians won't take it, because you told us that you've already collected $20 billion of oral money, blah, blah, blah. You've sold gold for $10 billion, blah, 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 blah. How much do we need to top up the cocoa farmers? How much do we need to pay the cocoa farmers off? Yet we are owing them, and then we've cut down on their guaranteed pricing. And the affront, the affront of it is to go out there and tell them that 3,100 you were receiving from Akufo-Addo wasn't good, but 2,600 is better.
But the president said if they want to go with the current situation, they may be compelled to borrow a lot, and that could drastically or affect the economy significantly. And now they are going to take some reforms that would in fact transform the lives of cocoa farmers going into the future. Don't you agree with that? Are you not convinced by what the president said?
I only know that he promised Ghanaians 6,000 Ghana cedis. Akufo-Addo's 3,100 from 476 is so bad and wicked, and that if he's voted into office and NDC come to power, he's going to guarantee them 6,000 Ghana cedis. So it's quite surprising that you did not even increase it to that level. You've rather decreased what they were having. And in the constitution, you can vary the salaries and the emoluments of Article, I think 91 or 71 holders. You can vary upwards, you can vary it down. You can vary no matter what the problem and the situation, the economic, the global challenges are. You can only, that's constitutional obligation. You can only upward the remuneration or the compensation of some office holders. Why is it that for cocoa farmers, you have to downturn it, you have to come down, you have to reduce it? That is the problem.
Before I let you go, one more thing. After the NDC's primaries, there were issues that had Baba Jamal dangling in the middle, and it was because of vote buying, among other things. He was cleared by the NDC's committee that investigated this. Now he's part of the candidates contesting in this particular election. What would be your own thoughts on what has transpired in relation to that particular issue?
Yeah, gradually NDC is becoming a major clearing agency, and they've just begun. All scandals, all possible infractions that their officers and their members will commit will be cleared. That is it. That's the signal. So I'm not surprised they decided to clear him. Otherwise, if you don't clear him and you hold him onto it, you go and bring out evidence that all those of you sitting in parliament, you did the same thing, even including the president. You paid out your way out into office. So why is he going to be used for scapegoat? So they did not have the moral turpitude to hold his balls. That's how come they had to clear him. And so they will soon become a super clearing agent.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure engaging you. So he said that NDC will soon become a super clearing agency. And that's been the situation here at the Information Services Department, polling station 1, 2, and 3. And we are still monitoring all the situation here at the Ayawaso constituency, and we'll bring that to you as and when they unfold. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
That's Fatal Bayaga interacting with the former EPA boss, Henry Kokofu, there. I still have Dr. Jonathan Asante Ochre with me. Doc, I want to pick your thoughts briefly in a minute on what has transpired between my colleague and the former EPA boss, and also your expectations in the next an hour and a half when polls close.
In actual fact, unfortunately, my Zoom went off.
Oh.
And then I had to rejoin.
Right,
but,
right. So he was saying that, for example, the last point that he made was that the NDC has become a clearing agent. He spoke about the fact that they cleared Baba Jamal despite finding evidence of him engaging in vote buying during the primaries that saw him elected the party's parliamentary candidate. And also, if you give your thoughts on that, I would also pick your thought briefly. In the next 1.5 hours, when polls close, what should we expect?
Well, let me take the second one. Well, the point is that I think that if the factors remain the same, then it means that the voter turnout will not be impressive. I just hope that, you see, this is a by-election, and that there is a possibility of people hedging. And then, of course, it's like what the delegates do. So they may have to go into individual homes and motivate them to come and vote. Other than that, the turnout will be something that, will not be quite impressive, and it will be an albatross around the neck of the NDC, because They are the incumbent who hold that particular seat, and they want to, take it back. But you see, Dr. Kokofu is somebody I really like. But it has been, there is some kind of cynicism in the way the MPP, bulwarks seem to criticize the current government. They have still not gotten over the defeat that they suffered. So it's like at the least opportunity, they will want to harp on that and think that that will give them some kind of advantage. I think that they should elevate the debate a bit. Look, it is just imprudent if the way and manner we've been handling Cocoa Board over the years that have yielded nothing but debt upon debt. And if you have a government who feels that, no, we shouldn't go on that tangent, by virtue of economic prudence and common sense, we would rather have to support this particular policy to ensure that whenever there is a price hike on the international market per the formula, that is the time if the government defaults, you can hold them by the scruff of the neck.
Right.
The rest are just populist argument. They're just populist argument. How does it happen that in not too long ago, you were referring to Ivory Coast as the benchmark and that there was going to be what? Smuggling of our cocoa. Now, Cote d'Ivoire reduces their price lower than Ghana. Then you say, Afenimaki says, well, we have to think about Ghana. This approbation and reprobating type of argument, there's too much insincerity in the argument, and I think that Ghanaians can read in between the lines. The other part,
right,
clearing agent for this government, he who is without sin should cast the first stone. When it comes to delegate elections in this country, nobody is innocent. Delegate elections, nobody is innocent. So he should not try to mount the moral high ground, thinking that, I see the MPP is innocent when it comes to that. Please.
Right.
In these elections, the presidential promise that was done, in an interview conducted either by yours or TV3, a reporter, the person told us that he has received 5 different transportations. What are you talking about? So I think that when it comes to a delegate, we should stop the hypocrisy. Let us all solve it. When there is no giver, there is no receiver. If the parties can sit down, because if they are the politicians, and we know that people get elected as delegates just because they are waiting for their cocoa season. So if one day we all decide that, look, this thing is not sustainable, let us find, some appreciable means of solving that problem. That is when our democracy will grow. I have suggested that if they're going to give any transportation, it shouldn't come from these individual contestants. No. The money should be given to the party or the committee handling the elections.
Right.
And this committee should not, in any way, none of them should show their identity for this or that, or support for this or that. And they should give the transportation fairly. That should include their feeding and their in and out. That is it. Anybody else that is found motivating any of these delegates is sanctioned. If we don't do that, then it means that it is always going to be the highest bidder, the one who has a deep pocket. So Dr. Kokofu should not, try this, because such sycophancy in their voice, such cynicism in the way and manner they've lost the elections, they've still not gotten over it. I heard Mr. Japamesa on TV3, I think Monday or so, saying that, well, Ghanaians did not buy into the Ukraine-Russian war effect. They did not buy into COVID. They are waiting to see whether the Iran, the US, and the Israel war, they will use that as an excuse. And they're going to hold them, whatever. They are there. I mean, look, it's as if you have still not gotten over your loss. And they may have to change their style. Okay. Everybody knows. If it is going up there, we are a deregulated economy in terms of the fuel. If it happens in the next price window, you don't expect the PBCs to make losses.
Right.
If it is a government that will have to bring those years of what you call subsidies, I don't know how government will be able to sustain that.
Okay.
So in reality, this is where we find ourselves, and we should be realistic about things of that nature.
Right. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere is a political analyst and executive director at African Institute of Strategic Studies. Thank you very much for your expert analysis this afternoon. Our continuous coverage of the Ayawaso East parliamentary by-elections continues after this. You're welcome back. And as we count down to the close of polls in the Ayawaso East by-election tonight, the Ghana Institution of Engineering is also preparing to join the global community in observing World Engineering Day tomorrow, March 4th. And this year's celebration, themed Smart Engineering for a Sustainable Future through Innovation and Digitalization, highlights the critical role engineers play in driving innovation, digital transformation and sustainable development. And I've been joined in the studio by Frank Pinto. He's the chairman of the Greater Accra Regional Branch. And we also have Dr. Osei Akwesi. He's also the organizer. And Amma Hackman is the executive committee member of the Greater Accra Regional Branch of the group. Lady and gentlemen, grateful for your time this evening. Let me start with you. What is World Engineering Day and what should we expect tomorrow, Amma?
Okay, so the World Engineering Day is a day slated to celebrate engineers across the globe,
right,
and highlighting their contributions to the world infrastructure and nation building. So tomorrow, as part of our celebrations, the Greater Accra Branch, Region 4, for Ghana Institution of Engineering, we'll be celebrating engineers across the country. So we'll be taking a walk to do a sensitization to the public on role engineers play to help shape the country.
All right. Frank, I want to come to you. This year's theme is Smart Engineering for a Sustainable Future through Innovation and Digitalization. Can you explain to us what that means in simple terms?
Yeah, so, thank you very much. Hitherto we used to do things manual way,
right,
and all that. But we are introducing some smart way of, accomplishing engineering tasks, to cut down cost, improve efficiencies and all that. So if before you were doing things like which is going to take you maybe 1 month, to deliver an output through maybe AI, Internet of Things and all that, which is the smart way. You are able to cut down the duration, which eventually will also minimize cost, in delivering the final result.
I can see Dr. Osei nodding his head in agreeing with what you were saying. How can engineering help transform Ghana?
Okay, so there's a saying that the world revolves around engineering. As you drive through Accra, if you compare what we are seeing now, what we used to do 10 years ago, you could see that there has been a lot of improvement when it comes to engineering, when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to energy, when it comes to road and all those ones. There's nothing that we can do as a nation if we take out engineers. Even the studio here, whatever equipment that we are using here was designed, built, and everything by engineers. So as you already know, we are already in the system. We just want to showcase more what we are even doing now and what we have done in the past. So basically, that's what we are trying to showcase tomorrow.
And what role, Amma, let me come back to you. What role do young people play in when it comes to engineering? Of course, we know that a lot of young people are in, but it appears we don't see the roles they play. Young people and women like you, what critical role do you play in engineering to help the development of the country?
Okay, so when it comes to women, mostly we are practical people. We think about how to improve the community, how to impact the young people. as women, we mostly organize mentorship programs for the younger ones, focusing especially on the girls, how to get them involved in engineering so that they don't think that engineering is far-fetched. Once they see people, the professionals in their profession, and they get to know what engineering is about, the contributions we do for the country towards nation building, they actually appreciate it, and then they are interested. Therefore, they can think aloud and then come out with creativities and ways to involve the professionals to help in nation building.
Frank, what role does engineering play in helping Ghana as a country to adapt to the changing climate, or what we call climate change? Where I stay, or around where I stay, these days I need to wear a nose mask anytime I go because the environment is so polluted, but people seem not to care. I think this is where engineers come in. How can you help?
Yeah, so, you know, as you've enumerated, I mean, for engineers, you know, we built Akosomo Dam, we have the Bui hydroelectric power dam, we have the thermal plant, where we, admit natural gas, fossil fuel to generate electricity. And you said we want to cut down,
emissions
levels and all that, you know. And so now we are devising means to, inculcate something we call mini-grid or off-grid, where, generation is done at the consumer's end, which is renewable in any way, solar, wind, and all that. For your environment where you live, and then there is so much dust, and then, people are being affected, health-wise and all that. We are trying to construct road. You know, the Temamoto is being constructed. Kasua, Takrade now being dualized and all that. So once the construction is going on or taking place, definitely, people will be affected. But with time, once it is done, which will be done by engineers, of course, this dust will no more be there. But, you know, the citizens, people in your neighborhood, for instance, yourself, may also contribute to this dust generation and all that. And so for engineers, we carry out sensitization, educate the public in things and, ways to go about living so that these things are not, okay.
Engineering has transformed the world. It has changed so much. Now we're talking about smart engineering. How can smart engineering aid the development of Ghana, Dr. Osei?
Oh, thank you. So smart engineering simply means that we are inculcating or incorporating Internet of Things, AI, data analytics. So you see, sometimes you need to get data from the past in order to predict what will happen in the next years. So for instance, in the past, our farmers in Ghana were dependent on their experience. We know that from maybe in the southern sector, maybe from January to March, there will be no rain, so they are not going to do any planting. But this time, it's not more like that. So smart engineering simply means that you need to get data, analyze the data, and look at where the trend of the world is moving towards. Then whatever decision that you are going to take is based on data that will help you to do the right thing at the right time. So basically, that's what the smart engineering is going. And for instance, when you take AI, AI is based on data. It's able to give you information based on whichever data that you have. So if we don't start now, by the time that the whole global world is talking about AI doing ABCD, we will still be here thinking about what to do in the next 5 years, the next year. So that's why we started, and we accepted this general topic to work with it.
Do you need government support? I'm asking this because if you look at a country like China, they are now the world leader when it comes to electric vehicles and a lot of technology, and they get a lot of subsidies from their government. Due to that, their vehicles are being banned in other countries because they are low cost. Do you think you need government support to be competitive, Ghanaian engineers?
Okay.
I want you to answer that.
Okay, yes. So there's no country that could develop without the support of government. Because sometimes if you go to KNUST, if you go to all the universities, every student that complete has a project work. And sometimes when you have the opportunity to sit on the panel to listen to whatever has been developed, almost everything
It's not a prototype.
Yeah.
When you come to electric vehicles, I can tell you that there are companies in Ghana here that are assembling electric vehicles here. And I won't take you far. Our own Apostle Kojusafo. How long have we been talking about it? So government needs to support engineers so that things will leave the shelves, leaves the prototype to commercialization. There are so many things that we can do. When we want to list some of the things that Ghanaian engineers have done on the global scene, even fiber optic, that's making internet a global something, was actually developed by a Ghanaian. So there are a lot of things that we can do, but government is supposed to give us the needed support where, for instance, if we go to the workshops in the universities, they will be tooled to make sure that they can compete and design all the things that they need to design from the prototype to the commercialization. So government support is always needed.
Tomorrow is World Engineering Day, as we've already mentioned. Amma, briefly, what should we expect tomorrow?
Okay, so tomorrow we are having a walk from the Engineers Center at the Roman Ridge through Kaokudi, that is the Accra Girls area, through 37 roundabout the military hospital, through Opebia to Accra Mall. Then we'll have a speech and then also some few interviews.
Frank, who and who can join?
Oh, so basically we have professional engineering practitioners. I mean, the engineers, craftsmen, technicians, technologists, and then the engineering student from our student chapters from the various universities. You can also join. I mean, because we want to interact with the public and then, I mean, sensitize you, educate you on the role engineers play in our society. So you are invited.
Right. Are there any numbers that we can call if we want to be a part of the program?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely.
Tell us.
I will give you the number.
Or you don't have it off head, right?
So
I think when we are done,
okay. Yes.
But just let me add this one: 0209140153, 0209140153.
So those are the numbers you can call if you want to be part of the commemoration of the World Engineering Day, which is happening tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Amma Hackman, Frank Pinto, and Dr. Osei Kwesi. They are all engineers. You're still watching The Pulse here on JoyNews. We take a quick break. We'll be back with more.